rice?
No.
Okay.
No. That's fine.
Is it good?
No.
Okay.
Bye.
Guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. Brian, Mr. Smith, this is my kitchen. It's Wednesday. Thought we'd cook some dinner. If you're new to my channel, thanks for coming by. I hope you get something out of this. If you're returning to my channel, thank you. I appreciate it. I do have some interesting news at the end of this, or I may tell you in the middle. I don't know. I may tell you now. Who knows? But sometime through this video, I got some kind of exciting news to talk about. And I mean, at least it's exciting for me. And if you are new, like I said, thanks for stopping by. Returning, definitely thanks for stopping by. If you'd be so kind, if you'd like, hit the subscribe button and join our neighborhood. We do all kinds of stuff around here, and I do mean all kinds of stuff. Try to put out 3 videos a week. Doesn't always happen. Lately, Tuesdays have been a no-go, mostly just because of work. And there's a lot going on around. You may know if you do follow me, my youngest, Abby, just had surgery. She just had her tonsils out and her tubes redone and her adenoids needed to be removed again. And which those are all kind of common procedures except for she has Down syndrome. So, you know, there's a greater risk, and we had a lot going on with that. So we were hard pressed to just at least get the 2 videos last week out. Plus it's getting near spring, and I mean, we got a lot of action happening here. So anyhow, tonight we're going to do a dish. It's an Indian dish. It's got a few moving parts, but it moves kind of quick, so I'm not really hating on it. We're doing a rice dish, and then we're going to do a chicken dish. So we're doing a pilau rice, which is a yellow rice. It's a traditional rice. And then we're going to do a curry chicken, a Balti curry chicken with this. If you do subscribe, I don't feel obligated to hit like or down, up or down on the like, dislike. That's up to you. Notification bell right next to the subscribe button. And you know, although the likes and dislikes, they kind of count all the same. We're trying to grow the channel a little. You know, get the word out there. Try to teach how to be a good neighbor. Do some cooking, some baking. Which wait till you catch tomorrow's. It's going to be a quick, easy bake. Unlike last week where it was a lot of moving parts. And I think it's going to be good. My friend Kaylee Meyer, bless her heart, she has been just throwing cake ideas at me left and right of things that she would like to try, and it just seems to jive with what I think I would like to try. So the last couple weeks have been pretty much Kaylee doing all my legwork as far as what cakes to make. All right, so anyhow, we're going to start with the rice. And it doesn't have a lot of moving parts, and I got this recipe, both of the recipes, off of a gentleman named John Kirkwood, who's overseas on the Big Island over in England. And at least I'm assuming he's in England, but he's a retired cook. And his recipes are off the hook. If you get a chance, check him out. He is so cool, and his voice is almost like Bob Ross style. It's very relaxing. So anyhow, this recipe tonight, I don't have measurements, a whole lot of measurements in cups. Everything is in grams, so I would recommend, I put mine away, if you have a scale, grab it, because we're going to do a lot of ounces and a lot of grams. I know that might be a hindrance for you, but if you're subscribed to me, I've been preaching forever to get try to get you a scale. This will be a good reason as any, because I think this dish is going to be fantastic. So let me get you down here to the counter as always, and comments are always welcomed as always. Just keep them respectful. We don't have to agree, but keep them respectful. That's all I ask. All right, so I think I got you without killing you completely. Maybe let me loosen that up. There we go. All right. Being my own cameraman is amazing. As always, I have the recipes written down. If we like them, we keep them. If we don't like them, we tear it out and throw it away. I have yet to have a recipe that I don't like. All right, so we're going to start with the rice. I am probably going to butcher some of these words, but it's okay. We are going to need 8 ounces or 225 grams of basmati rice, all right? Right here. Now, I mentioned this first, even though it doesn't go in first, because you want to get some ice cold water, or at least some really cold sink water, and now would be the time to do it. It's winter time. And you're going to rinse this. And believe you me, it gets cloudy. So you'll want to rinse that, strain it, set it aside so it can kind of drip dry a little. The next thing we're going to need to do is turn our burner on. And we're going to use a small pot. This is about 6 quarts. And we're going to take, it's 40 grams, 10 ounces of butter, just regular stick butter. I'm using unsalted. If you like salted, use salted. And which I can tell you is 6 tablespoons. All right, or 3/4 of your full stick of butter. And we're just going to put that in there. All right, and we're going to let this melt. So once we get this melted, we can start adding some other stuff to it. So let's go ahead and get that melted, and then we'll start playing with some more. Okay, so we got the butters melted, nice and bubbly. The next thing we're going to need is 1 medium onion diced. All right, and medium's kind of a lucrative word, I guess, because I don't know. I mean, I know you got the really small onions and the really big onions. And then I guess medium would be anything between. So, but it's 1 medium onion. That's what I used, is what I thought was 1 medium onion. Not quite baseball size. And what we're going to do is we're going to soften these. We don't want to get any color on them. We don't want to burn them or saute them. We're just looking for, to soften them and get them a little translucent. So I got my heat on a nice medium heat. And I'm going to put my lid on it. Now, this is not the lid that goes to this container, or this pot, but I want to be able to see down in there. And we're just going to let that sit on a medium-low heat for like 2 minutes. And that should get those onions right where they need to be. All right, so I brought you in a little closer. I felt like you were so far away from me. So, if you can see, yeah, you can see in there. See how they're translucent. They're nice. They're starting to get clear, but they're soft. We're looking for soft, slightly translucent, but they're not burnt. That's the important thing. So the next thing we need to do to this is we're going to add some spices to it. And we're going to add, if you have small bay leaves, I've got giant bay leaves. That's all I had at the store. Put 2 small bay leaves in there, or 1 big one. And then in this container, I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric, and then I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom. Most of the time, cardamom is used in baking, but I guess it's also not uncommon in Asian dishes also. So now he used whole cardamom pods and just ground them down in a mortar and pestle. I did not have one, so I have powder though from where we bake. So I just went ahead and did that. And the turmeric is it's going to give it an amazing smell and flavor, but it's what gives this rice its yellow color. If we didn't cook, for the first time together, I would have made this, shown it to you, or shown it to you first. And I still might. But it gives it a beautiful yellow color, very golden, which is what color this rice should be. So we're going to warm we're going to get those in there, get them going. If you don't want to use butter, you can use the same amount of oil, like a vegetable oil, But either way, eat whatever works for you. I guess is what it comes down to. So the next thing we're going to do, now that we got those in there and we've let those cook for a minute, we are going to add... I didn't get my water out. Oh, I got to get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So the next thing we want to do, after we got those in there, we're going to go ahead and throw our rice in. But you want to let the spices cook in there for a minute anyhow. Go ahead and get that in there, get it all blended up real nice. And if you are new to my channel, I really have a horrible habit of forgetting something when I'm preparing, which I practice making sure you have all your ingredients beforehand, but this time it was just water. Okay, so you can see down in there, but we got the rice nice and coated with all those spices, and the onions are going good. So now we're going to add 600 milliliters of water, which is 3 cups of water. I only know this because with the chicken, it calls for 150 milliliters of chicken stock, and that's 3/4 of a cup. So we're going to need a total of 3 cups of water. We're going to put that in there. We're going to get this up to a boil. Turn it up a little bit. And then once it's up to a boil, we're going to put the lid on it. And we're going to let it simmer for 8 minutes. I forgot to tell you about the last ingredient. Cinnamon stick. You want to put a cinnamon stick in there. Just a small one. It doesn't have to be like some giant one. But just a small cinnamon stick. In with the bay leaf and all those spices. Water. Then we're going to bring this up to a boil. Lid it. And let it simmer for 8 minutes. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes. Take the lid off. See what we did. Hopefully none of the rice stuck to the bottom, because that would just not be cool. I'm sure it didn't. Nope. Turn our heat off. Oh no, that looks good. Okay, so lift it up a little bit. What we're looking to do, we want to try a piece of this rice. It should be just slightly crunchy. I've never had it before. Yeah. It's firm, but not like, I'm not done firm. And I know you didn't get a close-up of the rice before, and I didn't know this when I watched him make it, but the rice actually gets longer. It almost looks like rice-a-roni to an extent. All right, so next thing we got to do is get our bay leaf out. Bay leaves are cool. They have great flavor to them, even though there are a couple people out there in the world that say they don't have any flavor. It's a lie. Get that out, and then we're going to take our cinnamon stick out. We can just discard those. Now, cinnamon sticks you got to be kind of careful with, because when they get hot like this and full of water, they can break apart on you. So you want to be careful. So we got that out. Bay leaf out. Give it a decent stir. And then we're going to strain it. I know you're probably not going to be able to see this, but I'm going to pour it through the same strainer that it had the rice in to begin with, because we want to get the liquid off the bottom of it. I'll show it to you once I get it strained. All right. So we got her strained, and there's our rice. I know it smells fantastic. It tastes just that little piece of rice was amazing. All right. So, and all I did was just pour it through this strainer and you're just looking to get all that excess butter off of there and water that didn't go with it. So let me get cleaned up real quick, and then we'll move on to the chicken. Won't be a minute. All right, so I'm somewhat organized. The Balti curry chicken curry, it really is more prep work than cook time. And I saved us some time by doing all the prep work for us tonight. All right, so things you're going to want to prep. We'll go through the list real quick. You're going to need at least 1 pound of chicken, about 1 pound of chicken. All right, and right here's our 1 pound of chicken, and you're going to just cube it up into about an inch and a half. You know, reasonable size pieces. Remember, the smaller they are, the quicker they cook. But it's 16 ounces, which is a pound. That's probably about 1.5 pounds, if I had to guess. The next thing we're going to need is we're going to take some tomatoes. All right, and we're going to dice them up. You want 250 grams, which is about 2 just regular vine tomatoes. Not the giant ones, not Romas, but just like a tomato you buy at the grocery store. It's about 2 of those. And you're going to need 1 medium onion, again, just like the rice, diced up. We're going to need, this one is, ginger got expensive, but you're going to want fresh ginger, diced, and about 25 grams worth, which is a piece about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inches by about 1.5 inches wide. And all you do to get it ready is take a spoon, this edge of a spoon, and peel off the outer coating of the ginger, and then square off a piece and cut it up. And 3 to 4 cloves of garlic minced. Okay, you're gonna need sure. Now this recipe calls for 6 bird's eye chilies, which are a pepper, and they're really spicy. And with Abby eating this, she doesn't do really spicy well. So you can use any pepper you like. I have a medium heat, just red pepper that looks very similar to a jalapeno. And in case you didn't know, most peppers, when they're green, that's when they're at their hottest. As they turn red, the heat dies down in them, and that's why they turn red, to let everything in Mother Nature's world know that it's dangerous because it's red, instead of them biting into it green and it blazing their face off. So you'll need 6 bird's eyes if you want to do that. And they're a small chili pepper, or just like a couple of jalapeno size. It's completely up to you. You just want that little bit of heat and flavor to it. You're also going to need, by the way, I've got my pan warming up right now as we speak. That way it's nice and hot when we go to cook. On top of that, you're going to need a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon of turmeric, a half a teaspoon of chili powder, a half a teaspoon of garam masala, which is this right here. And I thought that'd be really hard to find at the grocery store. It wasn't. Every spice company has that. You're going to need a half a teaspoon of salt. Here's the one I had a hard time finding, and I had to find a substitute for it. And it is called, I've never heard of this. It's called dry fenugreek. All right. This is not fenugreek. If you can't find it, the substitute for that is equal parts mustard seed and fennel, and you roast it in a pan. Okay, and I just used one of my small cast irons, and you just toast it in the pan and then grind it up. I used a mortar and pestle. All right, if you don't know what a mortar and pestle is, this is a mortar and pestle. Only because it's such a small amount, you can't break out the food processor for it, but you want to grind it up. If you follow true to his recipe, the fenugreek it's a dry, it almost looks like oregano, but it's part of the fennel family. All the same. And then you got your salt. You will need 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil. 4 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You will need 150 grams of chicken stock, which is 3/4 gram of chicken stock, or you can use water, or you can use half and half of each of those. I want to say he used half a bouillon cube in water, but I'm using chicken stock because I have it, and that's our homemade chicken stock. I want to try it. The next thing you're going to need is, and this threw me for a loop, I'm actually using parsley, 25 grams of parsley, because when I went to the grocery store this morning, I wasn't thinking. He said 25 grams of coriander leaves. Okay, well, you can't really find coriander leaves in the U.S. under the name coriander leaves. It's cilantro. Once cilantro, when it's out in the ground, it blooms and starts to seed, it's considered coriander. That's where coriander seeds come from, is cilantro. So you want 25 grams of cilantro in this case, or I'm going to use parsley because I wasn't thinking. Which is okay. He recommended it as a substitute if you don't like cilantro. And then just simply 2 teaspoons of heavy cream to give it a little color and help thicken it up. All right, so now that we got all that going, let's go ahead and start making this dish, because it's not a hard dish at all. First thing we're gonna do, 4 tablespoons of oil right in the pan. All right, now I gotta get that just a hair hotter. I don't know, we're dancing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but things to look for when you know your oil is hot enough is it's going to smoke a little and it'll look like it's shimmering, which is really cool. So the next thing we need to do, now that we know our oil's hot enough, and we can, because I can see it shimmering, so I don't know if you can or not. Yeah, you can, like right in there. See how it looks like water moving? Is we're going to take our medium onion that's been diced up, and we're going to put it in there. And we're going to cook this until it's got just a little bit of color to it. You know, and we want a little bit of color, a little bit of browning. They're going to start to turn translucent. Okay, so we got a little color on there. Looking good. Just slightly brown, getting clear. You know, we're in good shape. So the next thing we want to do is add our 25 grams of diced ginger and our 4 cloves of garlic in there. And we're going to let this cook for about, your onions should take 3 to 5 minutes. You know, borderline 3 minutes. Your garlic and ginger, we just want to do it until it's fragrant. Yeah, we'll start to smell it. And then that way we'll know it's done. Just a minute or two at most. Yeah, it doesn't take long. So like right now I can already smell the garlic, starting to smell the garlic. Our garlic, I can smell the garlic, I can smell the ginger. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in our tomatoes. And we're going to add in our chicken. Get the tomatoes stirred in real quick. Now it's sizzling, the pan is on a medium heat, and you hear it sizzling because of the moisture from the tomatoes is jumped in against that oil. So we'll get our chicken in there. And we're just gonna cook, we're gonna stay right here and stir this occasionally, and we're not gonna go too much further with it until the chicken's just a hair more done. We don't want it completely done because we want the spices to be able to attach to it and give it a good once over. But this is the part where we cook the chicken at its most. Okay, so we've given this a pretty good head start on the chicken. So the next thing we're going to need to do is take our chilies, whatever chilies of your choice. You know, you choose your own heat levels, like choose your own adventure. And we're going to put those in there along with our spices. Go ahead and get those in there. You notice we haven't added the chicken stock yet. Yeah, we haven't done that yet for this reason only. A, we want to get the spices in there and get everything coated with them, but that oil that we put in there in the beginning for the onions is what's going to activate those spices so they, you know, give off all their maximum flavor. Most spices are oil driven as far as maximizing their flavor and waking them up. You know, dried spices are asleep until you wake them up. So we want to sit here and we're going to stir this, get it good and coated. And then once they're good and coated, we'll just continue to cook a little longer, get this chicken even more done. All right, so we got our chicken about 90% there. We're so close, and it hasn't taken any time at all to do this. Now, while you guys weren't looking, I did add a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika to this. It does not call for it, but I know that's not uncommon in a lot of Asian dishes, South Asian dishes, Indian dishes. And to me, it just sounded really like it would go together in this. I know enough about these spices we've used that I can see the flavors in my head, and I really think it would be good for that. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take our 150 grams of chicken stock, 3/4 of a cup, and we're going to put that in, and we're just going to let this, sorry, being noisy, let this cook and simmer until it thickens up just a little bit. I know it's got a nice golden color. That's for sure. So as you can see, we've thickened down just a little bit, not a lot, but we're just letting the, moisture evaporate out of it so it'll thicken down. That's how you thicken things. You let, at least in cooking, or you add flour to it. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to add some of our parsley in this case, because I don't think, and you don't have to add a lot. And here's why, because even the cilantro isn't so much for like a dominant flavor. It's more of a background note if you're using the cilantro, but it gives it color. You want that little bit of green color in there. And this will wilt down. It'll, even your cilantro will wilt down and turn dark green. But you don't need a whole lot in there, because then we're just going to take some to garnish with afterwards. If you were plating this up for somebody, you would, if we're like get company over and you were plating it up in advance, rice, this on top of it, you would use the parsley or the cilantro to garnish with. Alright, so we let this cook about a minute longer. We got one last thing to put in it, and that's just our heavy cream. We got 2 teaspoons of heavy cream. We're going to put it in there, and this will also help thicken it. And we're just going to let this cook for about another 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to let it thicken up a little bit more, and this will ensure that our chicken's completed, is cooked. And we want our chicken to be at 160 degrees if you temp a piece, but because we cut it small, I guarantee it's done. And if you stick your spoon in it or your spatula or whatever in it, it should easily come apart. Just like this stuff is easily coming apart. So, but we're going to let this cook for about another 3 or 4 minutes. And then we'll clean up our mess and try some. Okay, so I kind of screwed up. I thought I hit record when I didn't, but I'll review. I let that cook for about another 5 minutes, let it cook down a little bit, give a chance for everything to get together, and then I let it just sit and rest for about 5 minutes. And it, it did thicken up a little, and it looks amazing. Hands down amazing. I would bring this up to the camera, but the pan is blazing hot, and I really don't want to burn myself, so it'll just sit there. But I will show you, because I went ahead and I plated it with you. You just didn't see me. You had your eyes closed. I just didn't have the camera on. But here's what we look like plated. Got some rice in there. You got the rice in there, and that rice is so fluffy. And then we put our Balti curry chicken in the middle. And then we just sprinkled it with, you would use cilantro or fresh coriander, depending on where you live in the world. Or your parsley, and sat it on there. So now all that's left to do really is just give it a try. And like I said, the kitchen, I did say this once already, but the kitchen smells ridiculously good. I don't even know how to begin to tell you the smells that were here. Smell-o-vision would come in real handy right now. And I have noticed with the handful of Indian style dishes that we've made, Southeast Asian dishes that we've made, the smells are incredible, and they're all good. It's not like, oh gosh, it's staying. No, this is amazing. All right, so let's give it a shot and see how we did. How is this recipe? Because I'm here to my mouth is watering. That's how good it smells in here. That is kick ass. This rice is to die for. The curry chicken is out of this world. It does have a bit of a kick to it, for sure. Oh, that rice is off the hook. Wow. Hands down incredible. That's a good dish. And really, other than the prep time, oh, I can't even tell you. It tastes just like my kitchen smells. That's the best way to describe it, really. It had just, the cinnamon, the cinnamon stick and the rice. I didn't know how well that would incorporate. Oh my God, it just added to that flavor. It's amazing. Try this dish. I'm not kidding. It's crazy good. A little bit of prep work involved. But if you're decent at prep work, you shouldn't have a problem. And it cooked quick. Really quick. It went everything went very fast. The rice took a whole 10 minutes tops. And the chicken probably didn't take 15. So, I mean, you could easily, an hour, have a really good meal. We're going to serve this with some naan bread, which is a Asian-style flatbread. Been around since the beginning of time. And I learned how to make it, and I'll have a video out on it. I've never in my life made bread. That was very exciting to be able to make a bread that didn't require a dough hook. It does require a couple hours, but all in all, well worth it. Well, we're just going to have this with just the bread, something to drink, some butter, and have a good meal. So the exciting news for me, at any rate, I will have on Friday a new Facebook page out. It'll be Mr. Smith's Kitchen, where I am going to post some baked goods, recipes for baked goods. I'm also going to start selling a cake or two a week, as far as different types of cake. And I think we're going to kick it off with the blueberry bundt cake that I have a video for, and the carrot cake that I have a video for. And I'll be occasionally putting recipes I find on there. If you have a recipe and you want to come and join the group, great. And if you have a baking recipe or a cooking recipe, throw it on there. I'll be throwing cooking recipes on there too. But I'm really excited about starting to sell cakes. And it's not going to be anything huge. I'm not going to leave the Ohio area with it. But if you're in Central Ohio and there's a cake you want to order after Friday, you can let me know on there or Messenger. You'll also see Mr. Smith's Kitchen on Instagram, which will be there. I'll be posting pictures of everything we make. I do that now on my own personal Instagram, but we'll have an official Mr. Smith's Kitchen Instagram, and you'll be able to see everything that we bake together. And you can comment there. You'll be able to comment on Facebook, on different dishes we try, different baked goods we do. Or if there's something you'd like to see me try, anything like that, it'll be there. So I'm really excited to have that happen. And I hope you guys join me to do that. And like I said, if you live in Ohio and there's a cake you want, I'm going to try to do maybe 3 to 4, 5 cakes a week at most to start with, just to get my feet wet with it. But I want to be able, that way, not only does it kind of help cover the cost of baking cakes every week, which hasn't been a huge ordeal, but it could help, put the down payment on this house. It could help buy new kitchen equipment. We're trying to build the kitchen downstairs in the basement that will allow us to have more room to film and cook and things like that, and get together and hang out, and I can have people come over and help bake and cook with me. There's just not enough room in here. So it'll be fun. And that's something to look forward to. So after, I'm going to say Friday, this Friday coming up, March the 4th, Facebook will be up and running. Instagram will be there officially, and you'll be able to message me, and I'll have a phone number down the line. You can actually even just call and be able to order cakes, or if you have a question, maybe even you could call and ask. I don't know why not. Just remember, I do work, and this is our house, So anyhow, I love you guys. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate that you take the time to listen to me rant and ramble, and that you come over and cook with me and bake with me. Tell somebody else you love them, and you love them very much. Make this for your family. Make this for your friends. It will wow them. I guarantee it. So tomorrow, we're going to do a strawberry crunch cake based on the Good Humor candy bar. There's a bunch of recipes out there, but this one's going to be kind of easy, kind of quick. it'll be good. We're not making anything from scratch other than the icing and the crunch. So the cakes themselves, box cakes, easy to make, not a problem. Just follow the directions on the back of the box. So anyhow, till tomorrow, try this. I love you. Tell somebody else you love them. Go make some friends. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.